Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and with Borderlands 3's 3rd birthday just around the corner, I'll be showcasing just how big Borderlands 3's base game is. The game got even bigger with the addition of not one but 2 season passes. However, with no extra content and the low price of 990,000 Vietnamese dong, 198,000 on sale, you can get more than any other Borderlands game can offer without DLC. It's crazy, it's huge, it's Gigantosaurusness, and we'll be covering all the goodies in the candy store today. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to, or you could even follow me on Twitter, and do let me know in the comments what your favorite piece of base game content is, and let's crack into it. So from the get-go, Borderlands 3 launched with the biggest, most jam-packed offering we had seen to date, or have seen since, with 146 legendary weapons ready and waiting to be found, with more to come free of charge. Amongst the bounty of weapons to hunt down were also 26 shields, 18 grenades, 18 artifacts, 6 class mods for each Vault Hunter, 7 for Flak, and plenty of other non-legendary gear to discover too. For all that loot, there needs to be somewhere to get it, and I have to say Borderlands 3 has that in spades. In the base game there are a total of 101 named or respawnable bosses which you can farm for that orange gold. That is absolutely unreal. Each enemy is dedicated to dropping specific loot, meaning they'll drop a certain item or items more often than anything else, or might be the only place to get a certain piece of gear. That means you can farm all of the available sources and see a variety of loot, or seek out a particular boss if you're after a specific piece of gear. Farming in Borderlands 3 is the best it's ever been. Its campaign would last close to 30 hours as you work your way through 23 story missions and some of the 55 strong side quests available to you throughout your journey. When it all ends, you can start it all again, heading for its current maximum level cap of 72, and can even do that 3 more times as you level up each of the 4 Vault Hunters. The high level cap and diverse items, even purely in the base game, allows you to build with depth, but where can you take what you've created to test it? At launch we had the Proving Grounds, a place where you could prove your worth. There are 6 in total: the Trial of Survival, the Trial of Cunning, and the Trial of Discipline. We also have the Trial of Instinct, Trial of Fervor, and of course the Trial of Supremacy. Each trial was given to you by a guardian named the Overseer and involved fighting your way through hordes of enemies and an eventual boss fight with much higher than normal drop rates. There's also a chest at the end which increases in value depending on how many side objectives you manage to cross off during your time. As with many of the game's available content, you can even switch on True Trial mode, which will buff the difficulty but add even more loot to the final boss's drop pool. Aside from hitting up the Proving Grounds at launch, we could also try our luck in one of 3 Circle of Slaughters, a traditional round-based mode hosted by none other than Mr. Talk. We have the Cistern of Slaughter set in the backwaters of Promethea, where you have to fight through rounds of various creatures, including skags, spiderants, jabbers, and of course Rack, among many more exotic creatures. You can also try out the Slaughter Star 3000, set on a massive Maliwan Dreadnought ship that will have you fighting through the best that Maliwan has to offer. It starts off calm but becomes increasingly more intense as more and more advanced mechs are added to the mix, with Blue Fire and Red Rain showcasing the full force of the Maliwan arsenal. If you're up for the biggest challenge of them all, then there's always the Slaughter Shaft, packed with the nastiest enemies the COV have to offer. Whether it's countless badass enemies equipped with rocket launchers, or anointed foes that just won't leave you alone, you'll have your work cut out for you, but also be rewarded the best for it. All Circle of Slaughters go through 5 stages of consistently harder and longer rounds, with the last one spawning a boss with an increased chance to drop specific legendary gear. Wipe out everything and you'll also be rewarded with a chest for a chance at more legendaries. At launch that was about it, but now the base game is blessed with even more, not 1 or 2 pieces of additional content, but 5 which you can jump into at any time. The first to launch was the Bloody Harvest, a Halloween themed event that has you searching the Borderlands for ghosts and their ectoplasm in order to power the teleporter to Heck. In Heck you'll fight ghastly ghouls, regular enemies in a spooky environment, as you make your way to Captain Haunt, an undead version of Captain Trant, and a much more intricate boss fight. The event is home to 4 extra legendaries, with the ghast called the pick of the bunch and one of the best grenade mods in the entire game. There's even a hidden puzzle to solve that will lead you to 2 Iridian chests. What's great about events in Borderlands 3 is that they encompass the whole game. While the Bloody Harvest is active, ghosts will spawn everywhere, which increases the mayhem even more. With that also comes extra chances at legendary loot through badass or loot ghosts, which will give you the most legendary drops possible in the game, painting the map with gold stars. The Bloody Harvest didn't stop there, it also opened the door to a whole new way of building your character, thanks to the Terror system and Terror anointments. If a ghost spooks you, you gain a stack of Terror which reduces your accuracy, but couple that with the Wild Terrified anointment and you can turn that negative into a positive. You can even gain Terror automatically with the right anointment. It's pretty crazy to have a whole system built around Terror, and it added even more depth to the game. Another event that you can activate at any time from the main menu is the Cartel event, which introduced more than double the amount of legendaries that the Bloody Harvest did, sitting at 9, and took us to one of the coolest places we're able to visit, Villa Ultraviolet. There's an Iridium cartel held up in the mansion led by Joey Ultraviolet and supported by 6 of his underbosses, all dedicated to dropping specific legendaries. To get there you need to first find the coordinates by defeating cartel thugs and their underbosses, which occasionally spawn in to avenge their fallen comrades and serve as a source of cartel exclusive loot without even setting foot on Joey's planet. This is the one event that I have active all the time. It just scales up the fun, adding way more things to shoot at, and what do they say? The more the hairier. Not to mention the Cartel event is home to some of the best weapons in the game, including none other than the OPQ system, a top tier assault rifle, the needle gun, a unique and damaging SMG, and of course the No Pew Pew, one of the best weapons COV has to offer. Oh, and how could I forget about the Grease Trap, your clone's best friend. Other than the Bloody Harvest and Cartel event, you can also activate Broken Hearts Day, a Valentine themed event that will see some enemies spawn in with hearts swirling around them. It's similar to the ghosts of the Bloody Harvest in that way, with different hearts producing different effects, and some hearts even summon ghosts of the Bloody Harvest. Like with the other events, there are challenges to complete, and because there is no area attached to this one, instead you can redeem a couple of legendary weapons by swiping left on enough enemies, or even get them dropped by loot hearts. On top of all this, the base game, yes, just the base game, has 2 takedowns for you to take on, a fully stacked mission that features 2 boss fights who each hold their own exclusive top end loot. The first one we witnessed was the blessing that is the takedown at the Maliwan Black site, the epitome of top tier content. Did I say it's absolutely free? The Maliwan takedown is widely regarded as some of the best content a Borderlands game has ever produced, with its pinnacle boss Wotan the Invincible one of the best fights to come out of the series. It's just pure entertainment from start to finish and never skips a beat. If you have what it takes, the Maliwan takedown will reward you time and time again as you hunt down 8 shiny legendaries. The other takedown available to us didn't receive as much praise, but it's still a worthy addition to the game. The takedown at the Guardian Breach is definitely up there with the most challenging content Borderlands 3 has to offer, with intricate puzzles and a couple of boss fights that are sure to keep you on your toes. It's longer than the Maliwan takedown and does hold exclusive high-end loot in the form of 6 new legendaries, but the reward doesn't quite match up with the difficulty. Nevertheless, it adds to the banquet of content Borderlands 3 dishes up without any of the 6 DLCs at all. Suffice to say, when you add 3 Circle of Slaughters, 6 Proving Grounds, 3 in-game events, and 2 takedowns to the already huge base game, you get a whole lot of fun that will keep on giving. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned just how massive Borderlands 3's base game is. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.